One Zambia, One Nation. To present the news, my name is Henry Himonde. A look at the top stories. Stakeholder participation key in achieving 8th National Development Plan. Third session of the 13th National Assembly opens tomorrow. Energy Regulation Board calls for use of biogas. And Kabwe Municipal Council to procure more desks. The news in detail. Vice President Mtale Nalumango has called for enhanced safety in workplaces to reduce occupational-related accidents. Mrs. Nalumango says Zambia has demonstrated through cooperation and dialogue that it is possible to create safe and healthy workplaces by embracing the Vision Zero campaign. The Vice President was speaking in Livingston when she graced the International Vision Zero Safety, Health and Well-Being Conference. Let's join Kalunga Msonda with the details.
The safety and well-being of workers at places of work is what has brought them here. International and local delegates have come together to share and diverse strategies for enhancing occupational safety at the Vision Zero conference in Livingston. Vice President has officially opened the conference with a call for enhanced occupational safety.
The government of the Republic of Zambia calls for a new mindset that accepts no fatality, no injury, and no disease. Thank you. No fatality, no injury, no disease at work to protect the poorest and least informed workers who continue to face the highest risks in terms of employment-related accidents and diseases on our continent. I'm sure the Chief Inspector of Workplace, the Minister of Labor, takes this seriously. Zambia has demonstrated through cooperation and dialogue that it is possible to create safe and healthier workplaces by embracing the Vision Zero campaign and such other interventions. Generally, all interventions grant the freedom to choose to work in a health and safe environment for all workers.
And Vision Zero Zambia is keen to improve the safety and welfare of workers.
Here again today to rededicate ourselves, to learn from the experts, to renew our vision, to remind ourselves of what we sought to do 5 years ago. And this is to make the workplace a safe environment for every worker. That every worker should leave home and be expected by his or her family to get back home safely.
And Minister of Labor and Social Security, Brenda Tambatamba, says her ministry is raising awareness on safety at workplaces.
To ensure that such unfortunate occurrences do not happen, do not continue to happen unabated, unattended to, the ministry working closely with its statutory bodies and other stakeholders has intensified on raising awareness on OSH matters and promoting workplace inspections through an integrated approach. In this regard, the hosting of this conference has added impetus to our awareness drive.
Kalunga Msonda, Zanis News, Livingston.
Minister of Finance and National Planning, Stumbeko Msokotwani, has called for active participation of all partners involved in the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan. Dr. Musokotwani explained that even if the country's economic portfolio for the remainder of 2023 looks favorable, Zambia continues operating in an uncertain global economic environment. The minister said this in a speech read for him by Secretary to the Cabinet Patrick Kangwa at the official opening of the Third National Development Coordinating Committee meeting in Lusaka. Details in this report by Wupe Sendwe.
The Third National Development Coordinating Committee meeting has opened with a call for various stakeholders to take stock of the agreed key deliverables for the year 2023. Chairperson of the committee, who is also Minister of Finance and National Planning, Situmbeko Musokotwani, was represented at the official opening by the Secretary to the Cabinet, Patrick Kangwa.
Always remember to keep our focus on the need to continually foster development for the ultimate well-being of our citizens. All partners present here have a key role in this endeavor. We are attending this meeting as different stakeholders, but with one common agenda, that is to foster socio-economic transformation for improved livelihoods. While it is government's responsibility to ensure that programs in the 8th National Development Plan are adequately and timely funded and coordinated, we continue to acknowledge the critical role other stakeholders play. The need still remains to optimize our limited resources by leveraging partnerships and harnessing the goodwill that we have.
And the private sector is ready to support the government to address developmental challenges in the country.
As a foremost organization dedicated to advancing private sector interest in our country, our primary mission is to work in tandem with the government to enhance the economic prospects of our nation. Central to our aspiration is the belief that for us to realize our full potential, the private sector must thrive within a conducive business environment.
Meanwhile, Ministry of Finance Permanent Secretary for Finance and Economic Management, Zanis explains the focus of the meeting.
As we already aware, government has committed to reform, support intervention towards the agricultural sector, from which the majority of the country's population derives its livelihood. The sector is also key to food security and export diversification agenda of the country. The meeting will therefore be updated on the status of the comprehensive agricultural transformation support program.
Being resolute and quick towards the implementation of programs as outlined in the set goals by the government transforms the country economically. 4% of Zanis News in Osaka.
Government has legalized Sylvia Masebo village, commonly known as sewerage compound in Gwerere area of Kapwaya Mbale ward in Chongwe district. Area Member of Parliament Sylvia Masebo says the action is aimed at improving the quality of life in the settlement, where over 900 residents have since been issued with occupants licenses. Pethias Mtale filed in this report.
Over the past 2 decades, the number of Lusaka's residents living in highly dense informal settlements has nearly tripled to millions. One best example is the Sylvia Masebo settlement, commonly known as sewerage compound, situated in Ngwerere area in Chongwe district. This is the reason government has taken action to legalize this area to a township to improve quality of life for the people. So far, more than 900 dwellers have received title deeds for their plots. The jubilant residents, one by one, received the occupants' licenses from their Member of Parliament, Sylvia Masebo.
Congratulations. Lusaka Province, Interesting Commercials area, Chocolate constituency, congratulations. So once the government that promise in my election, before the end of 5 years, we shall work hard here with your elected officials. Zambia kinashua bonds government kamba. By the end of 5 years,
for decades, these residents were considered illegal settlers in the country they call their motherland. Pethiasi Mutale for Zanis News in Chongwe, Lusaka Province.
Meanwhile, in Northern Province, over 183 cases of defilement and rape have been recorded this year. Meanwhile, 363 persons living with disabilities managed to access services from the various drop-in centers in relation to sexual and gender-based violence. Details in the following report.
Over 4,700 people have accessed services from one-stop centers in Northern Province this year. Out of this, defilement and rape accounted for 183 cases, 47 child marriages and 36 sexual assault cases. This came to light during the annual review meeting for Natwampane, a sexual and gender-based violence project under World Vision Zambia and funded by the European Union, which has attracted officers from 12 one-stop centers across the province, faith-based organizations, government and non-governmental organizations. Northern Province Assistant Secretary Jordan Mwenya represented Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpondo.
Our commitment to addressing the critical issue of sexual and gender-based violence is a reflection of our dedication to creating a safer, more equitable society for all. Through this program, we have provided critical support to thousands of survivors in the Northern Province of Zambia, guiding them towards healing and empowerment.
And World Vision Zambia People and Culture Director Ngoza Kabaso reaffirmed the organization's commitment to address sexual and gender-based violence.
Our collective commitment to addressing the critical issue of sexual and gender-based violence has been nothing short of exemplary. Through our unwavering dedication, we have provided vital support to over 20,000 survivors in the Northern Province of Zambia.
Harriet Kezabu is Northern Province Natwampane team leader.
We see the increase in the numbers of people reporting cases through the one-stop centers. This can be also attributed to the awareness creation that's taken outside into the communities, the engagement with the communities.
This year, 364 people living with disabilities have accessed services from one-stop centers in Northern Province this year. Helen Bwalia for Zanis in Santhia, Luapula Province.
Still ahead in the news, third session of the 13th National Assembly opens tomorrow. We take a break and more news on the other side. Stay tuned.
Hello, it's time for you to know your rights. For ignorance of the law is no defense.
People should report any case of gender-based violence to the police. They should not be tempted to compromise the cases, because compromising a case of gender-based violence is actually an offense.
Zambia, like any other country, has got laws that govern the welfare of its citizens.
We provide some check, some oversight on the police service.
When an officer misconducts himself, he's alone. One person being beaten is enough for the commission to move. The Constitution tells us that the people of Zambia must enjoy their liberties.
Every week on Thursday at 19:30 hours, the Zambia News and Information Services, Zanis, brings to your screens a program dubbed Police and the Community.
If we, the police, and you, member of the public, will work together, because the common enemy we have before us is the criminal.
Catch Zanis TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. Zanis TV, the People's Channel. Life is a journey full of varied experiences. Can we reach our desired destiny? Can we achieve our desired goals? If yes, then how? Join Juliet Mutale on Thursday at 18:30 hours on How I Made It, a program that highlights various success stories from different personalities with different life experiences and backgrounds. Catch Zanis TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. Zanis TV, the People's Channel.
For news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders, Zanis TV has you covered. on Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar.
Welcome back. As Parliament opens its third session of the 13th National Assembly tomorrow, various stakeholders have shared their expectations. Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia Executive Director Andrew Mwenda says the church expects the president to address the importance of upholding national values and the increased price of mealie meal. Munambonge has the rest of the story.
With the opening of the third session of the 13th National Assembly tomorrow, Friday, September 8, 2023, various stakeholders have different expectations. The Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia has highlighted the expectations from the church mother body.
The price of meal. I think that even though I did hear the president yesterday in Kanyama, I think he did address the matter and he said that the millers must be considerate in their pricing, but we feel that this matter must be addressed further to the whole entire nation, and that's Zambia, through Parliament. I think he needs to address that matter of meal. And we do feel that one of the best ways to deal with that matter, as he said, it has to do with the farmers themselves, where we have to produce abundance of the product itself.
Bishop Mwenda has further explained the importance of law and order in the country.
The last thing has to do with when I say the law and order, I'll talk about more of the values. He has spoken about the values before, but the president needs to know that our youths are being exposed to very dangerous things. I would wish the president addresses the situation. If today the president watched some of the things and some of the cartoons that are being shown on the DSTV, some of the cartoons are immoral to the children. The language that is being spoken there now is not right. Openly, we are seeing the issue of LGBTQ coming on the open, and DSTV is just making sure that everybody sees. The kids are beginning to think it's normal to kiss a fellow man or a fellow woman.
Meanwhile, the Independent Churches of Zambia has also highlighted the expectations ahead of the parliamentary address on Friday.
Is on the issue of morality. Gender-based violence is still skyrocketing. Every day we are having cases to do with say women, especially the young people and the adolescent, getting raped, gang raped. We are having spouses killing each other, and so forth and so on.
The last time President Hakainde Hichilema was in Parliament was when he delivered a speech on the progress made in the application of national values and principles delivered to the second session of the 13th National Assembly on Friday, February 24, 2023. Parliament adjourned the second session in July 2023. Munachwende for Zanis in Lusaka.
And in the health sector, government with support from the Center for Disease Control, CDC, has constructed a pediatric center of excellence for adolescents in Kalabo District in Western Province at a cost of 10,000 United States dollars. Kalabo District Commissioner Musangu Njamba commissioned the facility. Tinembewe covered the event and now reports.
Every parent wants their children to be healthy and safe. When a child is living with HIV, there are some steps to take to ensure they get the right care. However, this is usually hampered by lack of services and facilities that best suit their needs. Against this background, government, through support from Center for Disease Control, has handed over a pediatric center of excellence for adolescents in Kalabo District in Western Province.
To go a long way in enhancing the quality of care that children living with HIV receive in the district. And the children and adolescents affected receive comprehensive preventive measures to avoid them contracting HIV.
Speaking when he commissioned the facility built at a total cost of $10,000, Kalabo District Commissioner Msangunjamba said it was important for parents to know the HIV status of their children.
Knowing the HIV status of our children is very important, so we can timely link them to the variable services.
And Western Province Health Director Dr. Lisilo Walubita urged health workers in the district to provide quality services to patients.
Let's give our service to the utmost. Let's be respectful. Let's have the right attitude. Let's be courteous to the patients that we serve. These are our masters.
An adolescent spoken to said the Center of Excellency will go a long way in providing good health among young people in the district.
One of the people who are going to use our services properly, for example, you want to access services and you allow me now to access what you want.
Meanwhile, Calabar Central Member of Parliament Chinga Mutu made a passionate appeal to health workers in the district.
Your people must be positive to the community. They must be positive. I lost my cousin in Munyonga because there was no confidentiality in the people who were manning this.
Bearer for Zanis News, Kalabo District, Western Province.
We now go for our second break, but still ahead in the news, the Energy Regulation Board calls for the use of biogas.
For news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders, Zanis TV has you covered. On Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar.
Life is a journey full of varied experiences. Can we reach our desired destiny? Can we achieve our desired goals? If yes, then how? Join Juliet Mutale on Thursday at 18:30 hours on How I Made It, a program that highlights various success stories from different personalities with different life experiences and backgrounds. Catch Zanis TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. Zanis TV, the People's Channel.
Welcome back. The Energy Regulation Board, ERB, has called on stakeholders in the energy sector to promote the use of sustainable renewable energy such as biogas in households in order to increase energy efficiency in the country. ERB Public Relations Manager Musonda Chibolu says promoting alternative renewable energy sources is one way of facilitating sustainable energy development for socio-economic transformation. Here's a report by Miles Kabengo.
Biogas production from agro-livestock such as pigs, cattle, and chickens is a sustainable alternative renewable energy source for domestic use such as cooking. This form of renewable energy source is produced by fermentation of organic material from animal manure and solid organic waste. The production of biogas from animal manure and solid organic waste drew interest from the Energy Regulation Board, ERB, and World Wide Fund, WWF, visited Ali Dashawa of 11 Miles in Central Province, who produces and uses biogas with support from SNV.
So pezonkala maningi vainzi pezonkala dot so manje ndi pamene na sakira valiko pamene zoziwa ku SNV ndi wanapola manje vanuza kuti nga dota kuchitirani so that uzankala na ma benefit cleanness and then na zambo zina gas.
So monga kuli mwatandizika bwanji kuli kuzina gasi and then monga uzeko bwanji baja bantu waina ma piggeries but iswa using to monga ku use ku start produce gas.
Monga ba digest si ma pigs yeka including na ma chickens bamene varaninga ma chickens ya ma eggs ma layers vangachite na veve digest.
There are times where we have a deficit, when there's a drought or insufficient rains. It means that if you are using alternative sources of energy, you will still be able to cook, number one. Then number two, you are taking pressure off the grid as well. As you can clearly see in terms of Mrs. Mbebe here, she is able to cook without necessarily having to rely on electricity for her to be able to prepare her meals. It's extremely important because we are now looking at alternative sources of energy as a way of cooking which will take pressure.
SNV Renewable Energy Advisor Pritchard Mokoka explains the environmental benefits of biogas and how it can be used to fight climate change in Zambia.
It has high quality. It's actually more richer than even the manure you get direct from there. This has more nutrition for the soil, and as you say, you can see here, results can speak for themselves. Yeah. And but there's something that we're also trying to do, as I said, in terms of trying to promote this, because also the handling aspect is something that people are going to look at. So if someone says, "Can you buy this as it is?" It's kind of messy. So there's some way in which you can dry it properly under a shade. You dry it under a shade in a proper way, and then you're able to now, it becomes a bit dry, and then you're able to now package it, and then label it properly as organic fertilizer, and you can even see it on the shelf.
And Worldwide Fund Energy lead Michael Sakala assured to work with the government in promoting the use of various forms of renewable energy sources in Zambia.
It's a win-win situation in terms of conservation of our nature. We know that we're going to allow for trees to grow. We're going to avoid adding to the statistics of high deforestation rates. So a very good initiative, and this is what we want to embark on together with many stakeholders: the Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, Energy Regulation Board, SNV, and many more other partners who are trying to support that we start adopting alternative sources of clean energy such as biogas and LPG.
Miles Kawengo for Zanis in Central Province.
And in other news, government in partnership with the United Nations Educational Scientific Organization UNESCO has embarked on a program of orienting teachers on how they can improve literature in English in schools. Zambia National Commission for UNESCO Senior Programs Officer Leslie Lukama says the UN body is happy to be part of the program as it values initiatives that promote education and preserve the country's culture. Here's a report.
In 2014, Zambia introduced a revised education curriculum that included use of local languages in schools as a medium of instructions from grade 1 to 4. Now the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, has sponsored a capacity development workshop for educators to deliver literature classes for grade 10s in local languages. The program has drawn 32 participants from across the country to deliberate on how best literature lessons can be improved for learners.
It is this project whose workshop we are having today. The Director General of the UNESCO approved a sum of $18,000 for its implementation and transfer funds to Zambia. Therefore, I'm happy that today this project in the native language of literature has begun its rising action.
Language education and development expert Joseph Moya, who is lead facilitator, is of the view that exposing learners to literature in local languages can help the country develop.
This work would not have been possible without UNESCO, the national office in UNESCO, Zambia, and also, of course, the Zambian government for being a signatory to UNESCO conventions. So that is the number one point we want to make. But number two, the participation for this workshop was largely drawn from across the country. One, I think industry needs to come to the party. Why do I say industry coming to the party? The reason I'm calling on industry, private sector to come to the party is that they have supported publications in English. They have supported publications that have to do with the teaching of English in Zambia.
but we are saying our local languages are partnering with English. And so we need that infrastructure that English commands to be able to be spread to our local languages.
Participants in the 3-day retreat also share their experiences on how best government can help schools deliver.
Although literature, the word is polysemous, it means a lot of things, but in this context, what we're trying to say is as a subject, for it to be examined at grade 12, in this context it starts at grade 10.
The right people, they tell us what best we need to do, and we tell them what is really on the ground. Because I'm telling you, I'm having opportunities to meet with the CDC people, Curriculum Development Center specialists, the people I can interact with. They tell me why this is like this, and then I also give them the scenario at school level.
Initiatives to continue improving the education curriculum for learners so they contribute effectively to development remains cardinal. Branswisher reporting for Zanis in Lusaka.
As the deadline to meet the target of not letting any child sit on the floor by December 2023 draws closer, Kabwe Municipal Council has set aside money to buy over 4,000 desks in addition to the 10,000 that have already been procured. Here are the details.
Kabwe Municipal Council hosted the grand commissioning of purchasing of over 10,400 desks for Kabwe Central and Wacha constituencies. The local authority have been working to beat the deadline as presidential directive that no learner sits on the floor by December 2023. According to the profile data obtained from Kabwe Municipal Council, the local authority has already secured Constituency Development Fund (CDF) for procurement of 4,985 desks for Wacha and Kabwe Central constituencies. The learners in all the schools that are under government are in their need of 14,937 desks.
The shortfall in total for us is 14,937. But I know Mr. Kacha went to check around and found 10,000. But for me, I checked, it is 14,937. So that is the shortfall. And when we compare what CDF has already taken to schools, we are able to give you the correct figure, because we are still compiling with CDF to see how many desks so far they have sourced. But according to Mr. Kacha, I think he mentioned about 10,000 will be done before the end of December.
The depth further indicates that the learners are excited and are now paying more attention and wanting to come to school. Among the schools randomly visited by Zanis, Naluseko C Primary School head teacher thanked government for the desks delivered and one by free classroom broke through CDF.
The desks, last year we only had 84 desks, but after receiving 75 desks from CDF, we came to somewhere 170 something.
And Trafame head teacher also applauded government through Kabwe Municipal Council for the delivery of desks, saying learners used to sit on blocks and wrappers before the delivery of CDF desks by the local authority.
Not that good, because I remember even at one time the MP, Madam Piri, came even here on the ground herself in person. He saw how children are sitting here to Afwani. So despite the help that we have received or that we had received, even the desks that we had before, all the same, they are not enough compared to the number of the pupils that we have.
Namatama Luanga reporting for Zanis in Kabwe.
Luangwa District Council is constructing a footbridge over the Rufunsa stream at an estimated cost of 400,000 kwacha using the 2022 Constituency Development Fund (CDF). Luangwa District Commissioner Luke Chikani, accompanied by the CDF committee, visited the site to check on the progress. More in the following report by Lista Ndumba.
Chonkas village residents in Luangwa District are facing challenges to access social services, including education, during rain season when the Rufunsa stream gets flooded. The situation has attracted the local authority to construct a footbridge over the stream between Chankas and Janeiro villages. Both Luangwa District Commissioner and the area councillor are elated with the development.
The pupils have got problems of crossing the river when it's raining. All this river is full and there is no access. This bridge will provide that access to the school, the other side.
We hope that this project will come to an end before the end of the rain season. This bridge is very important to the what? Yes, because the school is on the other side. When the stream is full, we find that some pupils will stay for days without attending any classes. So we are really very happy to the government of the day for coming up with an enhanced CDF. And this has made it very possible for us to build a footbridge.
Luangwa District Council Director of Works, Mudenda Mainda, said the construction of the bridge is expected to be completed by the second week of October 2023.
From this village, the neighboring village, which is Chankas, at the cost of 408,981. And so far, I think just an advance bond of about 100,000 has been advanced to the contractor. The contractor's name is Kenan General Dealers. In the second week of next month, we should be done here.
The district commissioner also inspected a 1x3 classroom block being financed through CDF at Kaunga B Primary School. Lista Ndumba reporting, Luangwa District.
In Southern Province, Namwala Member of Parliament Herbert Mapani has given out 420 acceptance letters to youths who had applied for sponsorship under the 2023 Constituency Development Fund CDF. The successful applicants have since been enrolled at various skills training schools. Here's a report.
The bursaries component of the increased Constituent Development Fund has continued transforming the lives of many young people. In Namwala district, 420 youths have been granted skills training bursaries under the 2023 CDF allocation to pursue various courses at Viveka Institute and Salford Institute in Lusaka. Namwala Member of Parliament Mono Mopani saw off the youths.
Our youths are given equal opportunities to actually attain skills. Now, these same skills will help our youths to improve their lives, because once they're done with these courses or these skills, they'll be able either to get employed or to establish their own company. And when we say establishing, we really mean it, because we want our youths to be self-sustaining.
The Namwala Council Chairperson is happy to see more youths enrolling in skills training.
I'm very happy with the response with the people of Namwala. As we are talking now, we are sending 420 to different schools. And last time we sent 283. So if we add, meaning that actually we are meeting the needs of the youths of Namwala.
The youths are grateful for the opportunity.
Still catering. When I finish, I want to employ the other youths. Open a restaurant.
I thank the government for what they have done for us, for introducing the CDF. I'm going to do tailoring. As long as you have a skill, you can open up your company and be a boss on that company. So this one is a wonderful skill.
Starting off going to Mawagari Institute to pursue plumbing course, a short course. I therefore also stand to encourage youths out there. These things are new. Government is there to help you. So please, I encourage you to apply.
Without doubt, CDF is making positive impact in the lives of people, especially the less privileged. I'm Wayne Dapiri reporting for Zanis in Namwala district of Southern Province.
Still in Southern Province, Chief Mapanza has called on the Rural Electrification Authority REA to speed up connecting his chiefdom to the national grid to stimulate agricultural production. And RIA Chief Executive Officer Engineer Linus Chanda assured the traditional leader that 80 million kwacha has been allocated to the province for connecting schools, palaces, and health facilities. Details in this report.
Without access to electricity, rural communities often lack access to basic services such as quality health care, ICT education, and the agro-processing. However, government is determined to connect rural schools and healthcare facilities in Chief Mapanza's chiefdom. Engineer Linus Chanda is Rural Electrification Authority RIA Chief Executive Officer.
From that 743 million, almost 80 million is being spent in Southern Province. And in particular in your chiefdom, we have a number of projects. For example, Smaui, the one which is just the first phase.
Chief Mapanza wants learning institutions, healthcare facilities, and his paras to be connected to the national grid.
This electricity starts from Choma to Namara through my chiefdom. But even the nearest schools are not electrified. Many times we have got secondary schools where children who are in grade 12 are supposed to sit for computer lessons, which is a compulsory lesson. But they are not. They are denied that opportunity.
The local leadership added their voice.
We picked agriculture and livestock as our mainstay for job creation. So, and also when we have power in those areas, it means that things like feedlot can be managed because we can have water and then feed our animals. Also, in places like small, we can't rule out people engaging in small businesses like welding.
We put that plan to say we start from Smaobi as a connectivity center, basically driven mostly by the secondary school there, because the secondary school has been on us about the lack of this and that facility. So we thought, well, with the power, it will help the secondary school a lot to do a number of things together with the clinic and the community, of course, that is growing there.
Gift Banji, Zanis, Choma, Southern Province.
And in Eastern Province, Chief Mumbi of Petauke District has commended government for the construction of school infrastructure across the country. The chief was speaking at Lusowe Primary School when he witnessed the handover of 300 desks to 5 schools and a 1x3 classroom block. Details in this report by Luvasi Mutafela.
Sitting on the floor to receive an education, and to most of them this became a normal learning environment, which sadly takes away the child's ability to realize his or her full potential in learning. But these pupils of Lusowe Primary School in Petauke are now lucky as they are the latest beneficiaries of new desks. Thanks to CDF that has allocated an initial of 60 desks out of the 300 distributed to 5 schools under Petauke constituents.
So thank you, Your Excellency, for giving us 2 desks, 60 desks. This will make learning easy and enjoyable to us. It was not easy to be sharing and sharing desks from one class to another. We had a serious shortage.
At a handover ceremony of desk held at Lusowe Primary School, District Commissioner Martha Mlenga was represented by District Education Board Secretary.
Today, we are witnessing the handover of 300 desks to 5 beneficiary schools as the recipient of the first consignment of Petauke Central Constituency Development Fund in the provision of the desks. Far from eliminating the desk deficit in our district, but it is a start as we look forward to ensuring that no child sits on the floor.
Petauke Town Council is administering the CDF and has promised to expedite the procurement and distribution of more desks.
Apart from construction of infrastructure, no child will
will be expected to sit on the floor come December this year, 2023, of which this will soon come to an end in our district as well.
Chief Mumbi of the Senga people was also present at the event.
The traditional leadership is in support of the government's education policies, such as free education, because our wealth now lies in educated minds. We are also very happy that government has continued to make strides in attaining free education, possibly under the bursaries component. We have seen how this component has worked since its increment to 28.3 million kwacha.
Lubasi Mtafela, Zanis, Petaoke District, Eastern Province.
From Mchinga Province, Pamela Inambao reports that Isoka Town Council has been commended for using the Constituency Development Fund CDF on projects that are yielding positive results. Provincial Planning Unit Assistant Director Mata Kamenda expressed satisfaction after monitoring some projects. Here are the details.
These are some of the pupils at Sikenge Community School. They will soon experience learning in a modern structure because Luena Constituency Development Fund, CDF, has supported the construction of the first ever modern 1x3 classroom block at the school. Luena Member of Parliament, Mubita Nakoka, monitored some projects under construction to check the progress. The MP was cheerfully welcomed by the community.
I think it's about 85% complete, with the 15% that is remaining really just being the finishing touches. So we expect that within the next 4 weeks this structure will be ready for occupation, and then our children will for the first time be learning in a proper classroom. Now this school runs from grade 1 to grade 4. The reason it has been running up to grade 4 is because there was absolutely no infrastructure here. So children were forced, when they go to grade 5, to walk the 2.5 hours journey to Sikusi Primary School, which is just unimaginable for young children. And so a lot of children.
And in Western Province, Luena Member of Parliament Muvita Anakoka has handed over a 1x3 classroom block at Sikenge Community School. The community school, which was opened in 2019, had only a poor and mud structure. Stella Goma now reports.
These are some of the pupils at Sikenge Community School. They will soon experience learning in a modern structure because Luena Constituency Development Fund, CDF, has supported the construction of the first ever modern 1x3 classroom block at the school. Luena Member of Parliament Mubita Nakoka monitored some projects under construction to check the progress. The MP was cheerfully welcomed by the community.
I think it's about 85% complete, with the 15% that is remaining really just being the finishing touches. So we expect that within the next 4 weeks this structure will be ready for occupation, and then our children will for the first time be learning in a proper classroom. Now this school runs from grade 1 to grade 4. The reason it has been running up to grade 4 is because there was absolutely no infrastructure here. So children were forced, when they go to grade 5, to walk the 2.5 hours journey to Sikusi Primary School, which is just unimaginable for young children. And so a lot of children were abandoning school.
Sima Ward Councillor Imangali Bako has applauded government for the development.
We really appreciate that this area had no development at all. Now that development has come in this place, I am highly grateful, more especially to the current government. So we call upon the European government to bring more development in Skenge area, because there are a lot of developmental activities which are supposed to take place in this area. So we thank the European government.
And a volunteer teacher at the school, Pumulo Lungoe, who made an appeal, has expressed gratitude to government.
Yes, we had no permanent structure, but I can see the classrooms are almost completed. So we really appreciate the government. We just working just like that without getting paid. So I don't know how the government can help us.
Stella Goma reporting for Zanis in Mimulunga, Western Province.
Disability Rights Watch, with support from GIZ, is implementing disability inclusion in access to justice in Zambia. Luangwa district is among the selected areas in which the project is being implemented. Actors in the justice system in the district met in Luangwa for an orientation and information workshop on disability inclusion in access to justice. Here are the details.
To improve the responsiveness of justice to the needs and expectations of persons with disabilities, Disability Rights Watch, with support from GIZ, held an orientation workshop for actors in the justice system in Luangwa District. Officiating at the occasion, Luangwa District Commissioner Luke Chikan called for interlinkages among the stakeholders in the justice system.
So I think with your team, I think there must be linkages, because those who understand will get the basic law.
Participants appreciated the importance of the information session and knowledge acquired.
People administering justice in rural areas, we are finding it difficult to adjudicate, especially on matters where you encounter people living with disabilities.
Number one, we don't have people, those who know sign language. Because us under local court, we don't have interpreters. The second issue is we don't have transport. We've got an area like Kavalamanja. Amoro is about 15 to 16 kilometers away. The moment you adjourn the matter, you'd find that those people, they can't even afford or to come to the judgment.
Meanwhile, Disability Rights Watch Director Wamundila Waliuya has called on relevant authorities to expedite the amendment of the Constitution to help promote the rights of the persons with disabilities.
And because the systems are not very accessible and inclusive, a lot of persons with disabilities feel discriminated by the justice system. And because they feel discriminated by the justice system, they don't get forward to complain or to take cases to where they need to be resolved.
The one-day workshop was attended by staff from both the magistrate and local courts, the police, and the civil society, among others. The project is being implemented in Lusaka, Central, Copper Belt, Southern, and Luapula provinces. Lista Ndumba, Luangwa District.
That item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, another look at the top stories. Stakeholder participation key in achieving 8th National Development Plan. Third session of the 13th National Assembly opens tomorrow. Energy Regulation Board calls for use of biogas. And Kabwe Municipal Council to procure more desks. Thank you so much for watching the news. On behalf of the entire news production crew, my name is Henry Himonde. Remember to join us again tomorrow for another edition. For now, it's goodbye.